Hardball on MSNBC put together some of Dick Cheney's greatest hits from the early 2000s. And by that, I mean they put together a compilation of his lies.
He has indeed stepped up his capacity to produce and deliver biological weapons, that he has reconstituted his nuclear program to develop a nuclear weapon, that there are efforts underway inside Iraq to significantly expand his capability. There's a story in the New York Times this morning. This is, and I want to attribute to the Times, in fact. He has been seeking to acquire, and we have been able to intercept and prevent him from acquiring through this particular channel, the kinds of tubes that are necessary to build a centrifuge. We know he's been absolutely devoted to trying to acquire nuclear weapons, and we believe he has, in fact, reconstituted nuclear weapons. We've spent time looking at that relationship between Iraq on the one hand and the Al-Qaeda organization on the other. And there has been reporting that suggests that there have been a number of contacts over the years. We learned more and more that there was a relationship between Iraq and Al-Qaeda that stretched back through most of the decade of the 90s. The Iraqis providing bomb-making expertise and advice to the Al-Qaeda organization.
Do you think the American people are prepared for a long, costly, and bloody battle with significant American casualties?
Well, I don't think it's likely to unfold that way, Tim, because I really do believe we will be greeted as liberators.
Now, you just saw all that, and you know that everything he said there is not true. But today, in the wake of this new torture report, what did the media do? They're all inviting on Dick Cheney and talking to him as if he's credible, and talking to him like it's any other guest. No, you should not allow him in the mainstream media without giving 43 caveats detailing all of his lies. I've spoken about this for a long time. I'm in favor of treating political commentary and talk about the news like it's sports. You know what I would love the different networks to voluntarily do? Keep a tracker over the head of everybody who talks about politics, where one column says true, the other one says false. And you just give them a tally. You up the number for each column whenever somebody says something true or false. So on Dick Cheney's scoreboard, it would be like 6 true statements, 4,913 false statements. And then you would give everybody the reality, and the American people could go, oh, I see, this guy has zero credibility. So when he says that shoving tubes up people's asses, anally raping detainees who were innocent, by the way, and feeding them through their anus, that's not rape, well, that defies common sense, number one. But number two, I already know he has no credibility because look at the scoreboard. I mean, Dick Cheney said, we didn't torture anybody. And he also said, look, I'm fine with torturing innocent people if we end up protecting the nation either way. No, you idiot, you're going to increase recruitment for the terrorist organizations if you do that. Because then you're giving people an argument. You're giving people more sympathy, people in Al-Qaeda and the Taliban and in other extremist groups. When you act barbaric, that's obviously going to unite people against you. You haven't figured this out? But the guy's a liar, and the guy's a joke, and he was running the United States of America. I mean, there's been a couple documentaries about this, one specifically about Dick Cheney, another one about Bush, which made pretty clear that Bush was just like the puppet idiot, the affable figurehead who didn't do shit and didn't know anything, and Dick Cheney was pulling all the strings behind the scenes. And let's just detail his lies here for a second. First of all, he said Saddam has nukes. We know that's not true. We know for sure that that's not true. But also, notice how the implication after that was what? They tried to imply not only does he have nukes, but he would use them if he does. Wrong on both counts. Number one, he didn't have nukes. Number two, he knows that if he were to launch a nuke against the U.S., he would immediately be blown to smithereens. Of course he wouldn't launch a nuke against the U.S. So it's a lie on top of a lie. Then he says, well, Iraq and Al-Qaeda are linked. Not true. At face value, we know that's not true. How? Because anybody who understands Iraq at that time period, they know that the Baathists were in control. Now, who are the Baathists? They are secular Iraqis, secular Sunni Iraqis. Okay, they do not agree with religious fundamentalists. In fact, they crack down on religious fundamentalists. So Dick Cheney went in front of the world and said, no, that's not true. In fact, the people they hate are the people they actually love, and they're working together with them. Total and utter bullshit. Then he says, well, we'd be greeted as liberators. Oh, really? How'd that work out? And then he says, well, it's okay because the war's going to be quick anyway. The war's going to be quick. Over a decade we were there for. We went out for like 5.5 minutes, and then we went right back in because Dick Cheney and George Bush broke the region and further radicalized it. The guy was wrong on every single point, and nobody should take him seriously.